long can the professional survive?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I am Sid the Nerdy Mark, and today I have your review of the anime Golgo 13. So, a lot of you may or may not know about this show, this anime, this manga, whatever, but allow me to give you a little bit of history. This was created in 1968, starting off as a manga in a Japanese magazine. So, has two other films. This one came out in 1983. They had two live-action films. One was called simply Golgo 13, which came out in 1973, 10 years before this one, and also Assignment Kowloon, which came out in 1977. Both were Japanese films. If you want a review of those, let me know. Along with this, the show also spawned an OVA that came out in 1998, actually. It was called Golgo 13 Queen Bee. It's a 45 to 50 minute OVA. Along with that, there is an anime series that aired from 2008 to 2009 for 50 episodes, simply titled Golgo 13. Golgo 13 has also spawned two video games, one called The Secret Episode, which came out in 1988, as well as the Moffat Conspiracy, or Moffat Conspiracy, however you say it, which came out in 1990. Now, fun fact, I have played a little bit of Moffat Conspiracy. It's something. If there's any other of these shows or games or any of these that you would like me to review, let me know in the comments. But today I thought we would take a look at the film Golgo 13 The Professional. As I mentioned, this film did come out in 1983, and it talks about Golgo 13, aka Duke Togo, a expert marksman slash assassin. He, of course, assassinates the son of a very wealthy oil baron. This drives the oil baron, Leonard Dawson, into frenzy, into a kind of more of a psychotic rage, which is extremely quiet and very subdued. And his whole life mission now is to terminate Golgo 13. So, I haven't really done one of these anime reviews in a while. I am planning to change that in the year 2020. I know I said that last year, but this year I'm serious. I remember I used to talk about like the pros and cons. Today, I thought I'd do something a little different and just kind of go through some of the notes that I took as I was watching the movie. And, and some of them were good notes, some of them were bad notes. Overall, give you my verdict and a rating and all that jazz. Let's kind of just dive right in and take a closer look at Golgo 13. So the first thing that I really want to touch upon is the animation in this whole movie. The animation, it's not bad. Like, I'm not saying it's terrible, but it is definitely very dated for today's day and age and whatnot. You may be thinking, but that should be the case with with other older anime, right? No, I mean, if you look at something like Cowboy Bebop or Outlaw Star, the animation, yeah, you can tell it was made like way back when, but it still holds up today. Unfortunately, Golgo 13 at some points definitely shows its age. You can see, like, especially when they're with the outline of the people, you can see like they use very hard lines to outline them, and you can really like see there's like a bit of like a border. It wasn't distracting, but it just shows that they were someone just literally had a bad day and just took their pen to the paper and just went to town on that thing. So that was one thing. Another thing I gotta say is like the lighting in some scenes, they can be pretty bright. Like, I'm just like, I felt like I needed to wear my sunglasses, on some of these scenes, because, the lighting was just like, it made me feel like a vampire, I just wanted to like cover my eyes like that. The animation itself, during the action scenes and whatnot, it is a bit of staccato animation. I get what they're doing. They're trying to they try to like make it more into like when they do try kind of the slow motion type stuff, like it feels very, very choppy. If I was to take this clip and make it like completely slow, it would get really, really choppy. And that's kind of what I feel happened here. Speaking of the slow motion, it's just really excessive in very different scenes. Like, literally, Golgo 13 could just be walking and smoking a cigarette, and they'll freaking slow that thing down. Like, what the hell? Slow motion is used to show the impact of something that happened, whether it's a punch or a kick or a shot fired from a gun or anything else. You use slow motion to show the impact or emphasize the impact of that scene. They just use slow motion for the hell of it. We'll get into characters in a minute, but there's a character named Dr. Z. She hates clothing. Like, literally every scene, she's naked, or she's disrobing her clothes. Now, being a heterosexual man, I have no issue with it, but, it's just like, okay, I mean, is this is this Golgo 13 the anime or Golgo 13 the hentai? I'm not really sure. So another thing I wanted to talk about was the sound. You know, the sound in this whole movie definitely fluctuates. It's like goes very, very up and down. Like there's one scene where it's like super loud and it's very clear and very articulate and I can hear. And then the next scene, just the audio just completely tones down and I'm just like, what's going on? And there are some parts of it, like when, you know, Golgo is driving or whatever, like I legit thought I was having a fever dream because like the excessive use of color, it was just super bright and super flashy. And a couple of positives, you know, one thing is the action scenes, they aren't too bad. I actually thought the scenes was pretty good. It did leave me on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? So yeah, the scenes itself are still very, very interesting. I just wish they were executed a little better. But those are some of my animation notes. Let's talk about some of the characters in this movie. So let's talk about some of the characters. Now I touched a little bit upon Dr. Z, but she really doesn't have much to do. She literally is a target that Golgo 13 has. He hits on her, seduces her, has sex with her, kills her. That's literally her story arc. That's pretty much it. Speaking of sex, there's literally a lot of it in this movie. Let's talk about Duke Togo, the character. Like as you all know, he is an expert marksman. He never misses his target. He is tall, dark, and handsome. He's got muscles on top of muscles. He is pretty much like the man's man, the man everybody wants to be like, and the man every woman wants to be with. He's basically like what every man would love to be. I don't know about being an expert marksman, but definitely, you know, having a lot of money and a lot of women. Literally, he has sex every other scene. And the thing is, like, now I'm gonna show the sex scene. Look at this sex scene. Like, he's not even enjoying it. He's literally just like laying down there and just telling the girl to do her job. Like, literally, that's what it freaking looks like. Like, he doesn't even, it's just like, it's almost like going to the grocery store for him. Oh yeah, go to the grocery store, have sex, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, you know, stuff like that. So, like, I mean, seriously, it seems like from an outsider looking in, I think he's leading a very interesting life, but he doesn't seem to think so. He thinks that his life is boring. Like, can you imagine if you were at a bar, would you talk to this guy? Can you imagine what the conversation would be like? Yeah, man, I just lost my job. Still single. You know, I mean, just this year has just really been throwing curveball after curveball for me. It's just been really up and down. I do hope things will get better. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what's going on. So Golgo, what about you, man? How's your day going? Yeah, I feel you, man. My day kind of sucked too, you know. I wanted to go to Bali, but they took me to Switzerland. I took out a high-profile target, but the client stinged me. I was asked for $3 million, but he only gave me $2.9 million. I was only able to pick up like 2 girls for the 2 nights that I was there. So I mean, yeah, man. I mean, I'm kind of in a bit of a slump myself. So I totally understand where you're coming from. Huh. Okay. Hey, can I see that gun real quick? Let me see that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I literally, if I heard Golgo 13 tell me about his bad day, I'd probably want to kill myself because I'd rather have that bad day than my bad day. What the hell? It's just like a job for him. Almost like even like, honestly, just having sex with the woman feels like it's part of his job. It feels like he's getting paid for it. I mean, that basically makes him a gigolo, but that's another story. This is really uncomfortable to talk about. Show some interest, dude. This woman is like riding on top of you and she is having the time of her life, or she's just going through a really painful exorcism. I don't know. But the Golgo is just like staring at her like, okay, cool, whatever. I get that you're supposed to be like a badass and, you're supposed to be a man and whatnot, but I mean, if you're enjoying it, just show that you're enjoying it, you know what I mean? Another point that I want to make is that he has a very high pain threshold. Like, he gets shot in, like, the chest or something, and he just walks it off almost like it's nothing. Like, so that's pretty cool. Again, so Golgo 13, the most relatable human being on this freaking planet. I mean, I just don't understand why they had to make him, like, super emotionless. Like I said, I know his profession isn't exactly the joyous of professions, but even James Bond, if you're trying, they're basically trying to make their own version of James Bond. Like, even James Bond, even when he is taking out a target or something, or he's doing a job, like, he has emotions, he emotes. Even and especially when he's talking to women, are you kidding me? He's like the most charming person in the whole wide world. Like, so he shows a little bit more emotion, but Golgo here, he just looks like he doesn't care. So let's switch gears and we'll talk about the villain in this movie, Leonard Dawson. Now, Leonard Dawson is an oil baron. He has decided to hand over his company over to his son, Robert. However, Golgo 13 does assassinate Robert Dawson right in front of the man's eyes. And this drives him onto the brink of madness, and it's a very slow descent into madness. Like scene after scene after scene, you can see that a part of his sanity is being stripped away very slowly, and it's just a painful process to see. And I'm just like, oh my god, this guy's making me increasingly uncomfortable. Like he even sells his daughter out to this assassin so he can have his way with her, so that he will kill Golgo 13. He even teaches his granddaughter to be an assassin. His sweet little granddaughter, who's playing with teddy bears and tea sets. Now he's saying, you know what? No, you gotta take this. This is a gun. Go kill Golgo 13. Wait, this is not a real gun. Just FYI, it's a prop gun. Okay, so chill. And I'm just like, oh my god, this man is sick and twisted and evil. But it also, you kind of understand why he's doing it, but at the same time, you don't really agree with his actions, which is actually a mark of a great villain. I think this villain is too good for this movie. I think he should have been in a much better film. But hey, it is what it is. Now let's talk about some of the story and screenplay notes that I took. And some of these also have to do with some of the animation as well. I mentioned the numerous amounts of sex scenes in this movie. Now, they actually intersplice Golgo 13 taking a job while, he's having sex with the woman. Like, and it actually kind of confuses me a little bit. Like, is he doing this before or after? How is he, still, pleasuring that woman and at the same time accepting a job? Does he have psychic powers? I don't know. It was so weird to see that, and I think that's just really, really confusing at one point. And as a matter of fact, during that same sex scene, he is, obviously having sex with a woman, and while he's having sex, this dude comes in and gives him the job. One good dude tells him the details of the job so that he can go and take it. Like, it's just so weird how the whole kind of series of events is played out in this whole scene, in this whole sequence. Like, it's just weird. I wish it was a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more clear for me. Another thing is there's a chase scene with a bunch of cop cars. And the thing is, Golgo 13, in the end, shoots the cop right in the head. That's instant death right there. But still, somehow, the cop is able to shoot Golgo in the shoulder after he's been shot in the head. How that makes any sense is beyond me. Now, I get it, this is maybe like a non-logical kind of movie, but come on, give us a little something. We're not that stupid. There's a lot of boring exposition scenes, especially with Dawson and even with Golgo 13 when he's being briefed on some missions and whatnot. The exposition scenes are just absolutely boring, and I didn't really like them at all. Every scene in this movie ends in a freeze frame because that's cool, apparently. So yeah, that was just weird. I didn't really care about that. And let's talk about that helicopter scene. Look at this beauty right here. This helicopter scene right here. Again, another testament as to why this animation feels so dated. Oh my god. And I get it. It was 1983 and they were going to work with what they had. I just wish they would remaster it. They could have honestly just did it with 2D animation. It would have made more sense because this feels extremely out of place. Superman 64 has better graphics than this. Okay, that's what I'll say. Yeah, I went there, okay? But the overall idea of the movie was pretty good. The execution is where it kind of suffered. So overall, I thought that Golgo 13 could have been a much better movie, but unfortunately, poor character development on Golgo 13's part, poor screenplay, a lot of boring exposition scenes, among other things, really bogged this movie down. I thought that it could have been a lot more interesting. If you're going to try to do a character like James Bond, make him a lot more compelling. I care about James Bond. He was much more fleshed out character, but they didn't flesh out Golgo 13 enough for me to enjoy. There's other shows and other OVAs and stuff like that, like I mentioned, but I don't care about watching any of those because this one shows me that Golgo isn't a character that I need to be invested in. Hopefully, down the line, if they try to reboot a Golgo 13 at all, hopefully that they do make him a little bit more interesting. But as far as the rating goes, I am going to give Golgo 13 the Professional the bar. So that pretty much wraps it up for the first anime review of 2020. If there are any other anime that you would like me to review or take a look at, let me know in the comment section below, and I will definitely take it into consideration. But until then, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, this is Sid signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.